Hello guys, welcome to IB360. Today in this class we will discuss cell cycle. So Rudolf Virchow, we all know, said that new cells arise from pre-existing cells. So we will basically dwell on this particular line today, that how do cells undergo their life cycle. From one cell, new cells, how they are arising. What is the mechanism behind this particular statement given by eminent scientist Rudolf Virchow. There were many biologists, zoologists, botanists involved behind uh, the formulation of the cell cycle. We will not go into their naming details. However, we will talk about the phases. So we have the interphase, and cells are mostly undergoing interphase. This entire thing is the interphase. So this portion is the interphase. Mitosis is this portion only. Okay, let me do it with another color. And this small streak is a cytokinesis part. So during interphase, the cell is metabolically most active. But if you see the cell under a light microscope, you won't point any difference because the cell is seemingly inactive. So during this phase, the cell is seemingly dormant or inactive, but metabolically most active, because during interphase the cell is preparing itself for mitosis, for the cell division. And cytokinesis is nothing but the actual division. So during mitosis we see there is division of nucleus, and in cytokinesis the cytoplasm splits into two halves, forming the daughter cells respectively. So during interphase we have these three sub phases: G1 phase, S phase, and G2 phase. In S phase there is replication of DNA. So that is why it is also known as the synthesis phase, because DNA synthesis takes place. What happens in during this phase? Nothing but DNA replication. We know what is DNA. These are macromolecular structures, double-stranded, double helical structures, which are found like this inside our nucleus, and they are coiled and supercoiled, supercondensed to form chromosomes, which are otherwise found as chromatin material. So if this is a cell, this is the nucleus. So then during interphase this will be a typical nucleus. So this would be the chromatin fibers. But if it is during prophase, suppose, so the nucleus will look something. Actually the nuclear membrane will fade away little bit, and we will be able to see or stain the chromosomes inside properly. So this is the difference between a interphase nucleus and a mitotic or mitosis undergoing nucleus. So anyway, the point is DNA replication takes place during S phase. Okay, so what about G1 and G2? In G1 phase, cell growth is happening. Cell grows, so there is volumetric increase of the cytoplasm. Second thing, DNA is transcribed. Those of you who don't know the meaning of transcription, translation, we will discuss about these things in different classes, but for now you should know that in the central dogma of molecular biology, the pathway from DNA to protein, so DNA gets transcribed to RNA, or more precisely mRNA, which gets translated to protein thread. So this is the central dogma of molecular biology, and here this process is transcription and this process is translation. So from DNA to RNA, we call this process transcription, and that is happening during G1 phase. Also, protein is synthesized. So we can understand in this way the cell gets prepared for the upcoming mitotic phase. Again in G1 phase, similar things are happening. Cell is preparing for division, because just after G2 we will have the mitosis. Cell prepares for division. So if we look back to this thing, you see we have the G1 for growth, protein synthesis is happening, DNA transcription is happening. DNA transcription and DNA replication both are different processes, so don't confuse between these two things. And also protein synthesis, so cell growth is happening. In S phase there is DNA replication, in G2 growth and preparation of cell division. So here also protein synthesis continues, RNA and protein synthesis both continuing in these two phases. So in both these two phases we have protein and RNA synthesis. Okay. Then you see another important point, checkpoints. We have certain checkpoints. We predominantly learned about two checkpoints. One is the G1S checkpoint, which is also called cyclin checkpoint. Another is the G2M. Actually, this is mostly seen here in this location, which is between G2 and M checkpoint. And these checkpoints are regulated by certain proteins, and here the cells, they have a deciding point where they will choose whether to continue with the usual cell cycle or to give it a pause. Usually we see for cells which are not willing to undergo further division and they are willing to go into a resting stage, which is also called the quiescent stage or the G0 stage. At this particular checkpoint, G2M, they are taking this particular decision. We will talk about this in some other classes in details, but for now you should know that there are these two particular checkpoints, G1S and G2M, which are deciding the fate of the cell, whether it will undergo cell cycle or not. Or in case of muscle fibers, in case of nerve cells they do not divide. In case of muscle cells, they rarely divide. So these cells, they either undergo a permanent they either enter into a permanent resting stage or into a very long period of rest. Okay, then comes mitosis. So we see after interphase we have the mitosis phase. During this phase the cell is undergoing divisions, and we have the interphase. During interphase the centrosome, they come to lie near the nucleus. In prophase, the centrosome, the centrioles, basically they are occupying opposite poles. So opposite poles means if one centriole will be here, the other centriole will travel to exactly diametrically opposite end, and these will extend certain fibers between them, which are called spindle fibers. So these yellow thread like structures, they are spindle fibers. So this is about the centrosome or the centrioles. What about the nucleus? So we see that there is significant change in the nuclear membrane as well as the nucleolus. So in interphase there was a very prominent nucleolus. Nucleolus is a very important structure inside nucleus, because here RNAs are synthesized, rRNAs are synthesized. Anyway, so we see during prophase both the nucleolus and nuclear membrane, they start disappearing, and the uncondensed chromosomes, which are actually chromatin fibers or chromatin material, chromatin fibers, the uncondensed, they start coiling and they get highly condensed and they form the chromosomes, which are mainly made of sister chromatids. So a typical chromosome looks like this. So this is the centromere. That means the point of attachment of two sister chromatids. So let me show you the sister chromatids. Suppose this is one sister chromatid and sorry, this will be another sister chromatid. So both would be joined at a point, and that primary point of constriction is known as centromere. So the two sister chromatids, so these are sister chromatids, and they are joined at a primary constriction point known as centromere. This centromere plays a very vital role in later stages, and we will see. So what is happening? You see, during interphase we notice a prominent nucleus, we notice a well-defined nuclear membrane. Obviously, nuclear membrane is double membranous structure with nuclear pores to facilitate the entry and exit of RNAs and other carrier proteins, whatever. In prophase, they are starting to disappear, and the centrioles are occupying opposite poles. Right in the metaphase, so this is another prometaphase stage, but so in prometaphase stage, what happens? The chromosomes, which are now doubled, so due to on account of DNA replication, we have now two sister chromatids, which is this is one chromosome, by the way. So now each chromosomes, they are adjusting themselves. They are trying to align in some kind of an particular arrangement. So that tendency begins at prometaphase. Prometaphase is not very significant or very lengthy, very long stage. Just after prometaphase, we have the metaphase, where we see that the chromosomes, they have aligned themselves in a particular plane, and this is the metaphase plate or the equatorial plane. You see, they are exactly in perpendicular to the line joining the two centrioles. They are perpendicular, and this has special and this particular arrangement has special significance. You see, in prometaphase, another important term is kinetochore. What is kinetochore? You see, if we kind of magnify this particular situation, we see that here the spindle fibers are coming, and this is the centromere, which is attached. So this centromere is the primary constriction point at which the two sister chromatids are attached to each other to form a complete chromosome. So this is the centromere, and to this centromere the spindle fiber is attached. Now this phase of the centromere, this phase to which the spindle fibers are attached, this is called kinetochore. Okay, and it is very important to note that each chromosomes, they are attached to the spindle fibers at their centromere. So whenever we are drawing diagrams, then also we have to show this particular aspect, that the centromeres are responsible for attaching the chromosomes to the spindle fibers, and this alignment is also special because that is making a 90-degree. Next thing you see, during anaphase, the spindle fibers, they are contracting. So they are moving towards their centrioles from which they arose at one point. They're moving back. So they are contracting. And as they're contracting, they're pulling the chromosome apart, and the chromosomes they detach at the spindle fiber, that at the centromere. That means at this region. So at this region, the chromosomes they are getting halved. 50% of the chromosome travels to one particular centriole, and the other half travels to the other opposite polarity centriole. And this is how the two sister chromatids they get separated, and now they would be called daughter chromosomes. These and this and this. So this is a set of daughter chromosome, and this is also a set of daughter chromosomes. And these daughter chromosomes, as they occupy opposite poles, there again they will uncondense and they will form chromatin material just like earlier, and they will form individual nucleus here. And this is the telophase. During telophase we see that the nuclear membrane starts reappearing and the nucleus also starts reappearing. And another important thing which we see during telophase is a constriction in this cytoplasm. This is known as furrow constriction. And there is a significant difference between cytokinesis in plants and cytokinesis in animals, because in animals we see this constriction is starting from periphery and directing towards the center of the cell, and that is how the two daughter cells are formed with this dough pinching like action. But in case of plant cells, what happens, these are rectangular shaped, and in the center a cell plate formation takes place, and this extends to the periphery, the cell plate. Then the cell plate cuts through the entire plant cell and divides the plant cell into two individual daughter cells. But in animal cell it is significantly different. So this is all about mitosis. I hope you have noted the important points which I said, like disappearance of nucleus, nuclear membrane, then occupation of the centrioles at their exactly opposite polarity, formation of spindle fibers, and these are actually astral rays. Astral rays. Also how kinetochore is performing, then fragments of nuclear envelope, because now they have already kind of disintegrated. Then what happens during metaphase, equatorial plane thing, and contraction of the spindle fibers, separation of the chromosomes at the centromere, thereby the sister chromatids are now daughter chromosomes. They occupy separate poles, nuclear membrane reappears, nucleolus reappears, and constriction appears at the periphery, which deepens and pinches those two cells off, and we get two new daughter cells from the mother cell. So this is all about today. Thank you guys for watching my video. Stay safe.